sex, drugs, rock and roll.
The crowd seems to love it.
Careful, it's slippery. I had it flagged.
Exclusively on Tucson's new run, 92.1 KFMA, Green Valley, Tucson. K292CM Summer Hit. Loveline is meant for an adult audience. Loveline may contain sexually oriented content. Listener discretion advised.
Now, here's Loveline.
1-800-LOVE-191. With Dr. Drew and Adam Carolla.
Hey, Loveline. Phone number 1-800-LOVE-191. Fax number 310-854-4455. Mark McGrath is here from Sugar Ray.
Good to see you guys again.
Good to see you,
As
Mark.
always have a good time here.
We saw Mark. Actually, Drew and I both saw Sugar Ray's entire set because we're up on the sofa and we're bringing out Hole. This is at the K-Rock 9th Annual Almost Acoustic Christmas. That was at the Shrine on Friday.
Which barely survived the event.
Yeah, it was bouncing around. And we were up on the sofa. I pulled the world's biggest Brody on the sofa and like dumped beer on Sarah Michelle Gellar.
Oh, that's
Drew, you saw that maneuver, didn't you?
You almost fell off the balcony.
I mean, it was like a three-parter. It was not only the initial Brody, but then the other. Well, okay, I don't know where to begin. The point is they have a sofa up on a balcony, and that's where you announce the band. Sugar Ray was playing. You have to get there early. Drew and I were running around backstage. We got there. We watched Sugar Ray, and as I was trying to crawl over the back of the sofa, Mark, did you go to the sofa at any point in the evening?
No, I heard it was ruined because someone spilled beer all over it.
The point is, you couldn't get onto it. There were two walls on each side of it, and you had to go over the back, and Sarah Michelle Gellar, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, was sitting on the sofa, and Drew had already made it on, and I was trying to get on without bending over and without spilling my beer, and I was sort of walking off the railing onto it and just caught my shoe on something, on I think a doily that Jed had left behind, and I just went straight head first, and I just did a face plant, and then my feet started coming over the top. I mean, it was like an Inspector Clouseau sort of maneuver.
Anxiously whispering in my ear.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get you guys have been lost in discussion about the NFL here for the 5 minutes prior to the show. But you'll notice this screen, no calls. You notice this phone bank?
Right.
No calls.
Right.
We're having phone problems tonight. So we're going to use a different phone number. Sorry to interrupt you guys. We're going to go on with it.
Oh, no problem.
But the number tonight and tonight only is 1-800-580-0866. Again, for Loveline, 1-800-580-0866. And we'll begin screening the calls immediately. I don't know what the problem is with our usual phone number, but it'll be up presumably tomorrow night.
All right. And we're going to hear 3 cuts tonight from the new Sugar Ray CD entitled 1459. And these 2 of the cuts will be world premiered here.
And I was telling Adam, Mark almost killed me on Friday night.
Yeah, how do you do that?
When you run through the audience?
Yes.
I was trying to make my way over to that damn booth down the aisle there. This guy runs like a 4.7 through the audience with
4.6
with 800 people, just literally like a giant tail of a dragon or something hanging off.
You mean during Hole?
No, during his thing.
Where the hell was I?
He comes off the stage.
I'm in Sugar Ray, Adam.
Yeah, I know, but
we hadn't got up there yet. We were up there like the 3rd song or something.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So it was right at the beginning of the set?
Yeah, it's sort of running a gauntlet. It's sort of an old studio stage trick.
But nobody was in the aisles except me.
I did see you, too. So no.
Thanks, I appreciate it. That was right for my head.
Oh, man. All right, but there was some tragedy on, was it Friday? Earlier Friday?
Yeah, this is, fortunately, had never happened before, but, I'm on my way to the show Friday, and, I get a call on the phone, and one of my very good friends, his name's Lynn, and he sings in a band called Snot. He died in a car accident a couple of hours before the show.
And around here? Or?
This was up in the Santa Barbara area. He's actually on his way down, and, I don't know, I'd never really dealt with anything like that, and it sort of put a little damper on the evening for me, obviously, and, but, I announced it on stage, and a lot of people know Lynn and know what a great guy he was, and so the support was great. That we all got to talk about it after, and it was just kind of heavy because it was sort of an ambiguous moment where I didn't know what to do, and I had the show to play, and it's a really incredible event. I didn't want to burn anybody out, but I felt it was time. I just felt he was just due his remembrance, and I'm still in shock.
How could you ever go wrong just telling people where you're at?
I don't know. I feel like
it's BS.
Well, I felt like I owed it to people anyway, and that was it. And it was actually kind of cathartic because a lot of people, a lot of people know Lynn. I'm sure a lot of callers know him as well. And I already miss him already, and I like I said, I stumble over words when I think about it. I still haven't completely been able to deal with it, and he's just one of those, you meet like 10, 12 people in your life that you truly love. He was one of them,
This is a usually
it was
stage you get a sort of I can't believe it happened phase.
I was just numb. I hadn't cried in 20 years, and I swear to God, I was crying in front of people, and I didn't know what to do. Like, I saw you, Dr. Drew. I saw Adam, and I just talked to him. I'm like, I don't know. I still don't know. There's a lot of things. We have to go to the funeral this Wednesday, and it's going to be tough. I'm sure a lot of your listeners can relate. I know a lot of people can, and especially this time of year. It's kind of rough to go through. I don't mean to put it like black cloud over the situation, but there's certainly one in my heart.
How old was he?
He was, I think he's 30 years old.
Hey, Drew, let me ask you, and I know it varies from person to person, but is it best to find out something tragic like this if you had to perform that night or the next night or the next night? I mean, you know what I'm saying? Is there a point when you're just in sort of shock and denial?
Yeah.
And then a point when the grieving really, really kicks in?
Well, yeah, you're right. It probably is 5 to 7 days later when you really start having the feelings.
You know what was weird? Was it, did it make the news? Because
I'm not sure. I didn't see, but I know MTV interviewed me about it, and I know, Lynn's touched a lot of lives, and if you ever met him, you know what I'm talking about. So I'm sure it was in the Santa Barbara, the front page of the news up there, where it happened, and it's a real tragedy, and I guess it just makes me really bummed to talk about.
I only ask because it was bizarre. My mother and my grandmother came over for a little visit today.
Oh boy.
Speaking of tragedy,
did they beat you with
I'm still in the denial phase.
Did they beat you with the scrotum?
Please, Drew. They listen to the show. You're already on their S list, by the way. Filling my head with those crazy thoughts. But I was sitting down with my mom and my grandma in my den, missing the tremendous upset of Giants beating Denver, and I was telling my mom, I ran into an old friend of mine. He started some band. I can't even remember the name of the band, but it was like, Johnny Retardo or some kind of name like that. And my grandmother looked at me, she's 84 years old, and she said, there's a band called Snot. And I thought, my God, yeah, a guy from that band just died. I didn't say it. I was just thinking it, and I thought.
She must have read it somewhere.
Yeah, but.
Yeah.
She did.
Yeah.
She must have.
Yeah.
Just because he died in this accident on Friday.
Have been press somewhere. Yeah.
Yeah. She didn't say anything like that. She just said there's a band called Snot. Isn't that bizarre?
Mm-hmm. That is bizarre.
Equally as bizarre, you didn't sort of complete the thought with it.
Yeah, exactly.
I was just looking at her, and then I realized, we're going to get launched in a whole different. You know what I'm talking about?
I do. Sometimes you just let things go.
Yeah, and you learn with your family. God bless them, but you learn. You already have. It's tough enough just staying on whatever subject you think you're on in the first place, and you're not getting the argument. Everything's going good.
Right.
Everything's looking good. Let's not steer it another direction.
Exactly.
All right, we'll take some phone calls. We'll debut some songs from Sugar Ray. We got a big night tonight. Raj.
Hi. How you doing?
Hi, you're 27. You're on with Mark from Sugar Ray.
By the way, once again, our phone lines are screwed up tonight, so for tonight only, our number is 1-800-580-0866.
Well, first of all, I just want to say, like everybody says, a long-time listener, first-time caller, and I really like Adam and Dr. Drew. And I kind of like Sugar Ray.
That's okay. We'll take it kind of like.
Kind of like.
Oh, hold on.
Kind of like you.
Nah, I just got to go on hold for that. I was just yelling at my girlfriend about these half-baked compliments.
We'll take any these days.
It was Engineer Mike, yeah. I was yelling at him about it, too. I had some chick, friend of mine, say to me, she goes, when you brought up Hole the other night? I said, yeah. She goes, you look kind of nervous up there. Were you nervous? And I said, no, I wasn't nervous. And she said, oh. And then I paused and I thought,
how do you react to that?
Why do you say that? Why bring it up? I said, no, I wasn't nervous. And then the whole night you get people stop you and they go, I had one chick, I was signing her arm and she's going, sign my arm. And I was signing it and she goes, I don't know which one you are. And I went, I gave her the pen and I walked away. I didn't want to be a prick, but I thought to myself, I just thought, listen, just be quiet, everybody.
Hey, call me what you want. So call me late for dinner. That's my motto.
Now Raj is going to have to sit on hold for another 20
minutes. Let's go back to Raj. Come on, let's see what it's saying.
With the kind of and the Sugar Ray?
I'll take it kind of.
All right. Raj?
Actually, I was just kidding. I was just at a karaoke a few weeks ago, and I sang Fly, and I was really working the crowd.
All right.
Absolutely. That's what we're about, karaoke.
All is forgiven.
And one more thing, too. I met this guy a while ago. His name's Kenyatta, and his girlfriend knows some people in the band. I don't know who she knows, but...
How much she charge?
I'm sorry?
I didn't say.
Go ahead,
Raj.
You don't know
Is this
Kenyatta.
Raj from What's Happening, by the way?
I'm sorry?
Hey, Raj.
Uh-huh.
You got a question?
Yeah, I'm going to send D over there to kick your ass if you don't ask a question.
Oh, I'm sorry, bro. Okay, the thing is, I'm Indian American. Like, my ancestry is East Indian. My parents grew up in India, and they kind of expect me to have an arranged marriage. And I've grown up here, and so my outlook is entirely different. I've dated girls from all different races, and, I'm totally open in terms of race and religion.
Have you discussed this with your parents?
Well, see, the thing is, I kind of, lean towards the topic, but, it seems pretty clear from their perspective that's out of the question.
Are you being supported by them in some way?
No, I'm independent.
You're
I have a
27.
good job. And
You're 27.
You mean financially or
Well,
emotionally?
anyway, really, any way that you couldn't assert yourself independently.
It's got to be rough to break the mold, of tradition. That's got to be really rough.
This is a time-honored issue with American immigrants. I mean, the kids, freak the parents out. The parents come over here to get a better life for their kids, and the kids grow up American.
Next thing you know, they got a Guar poster on their,
Right.
mixing speed in the garage.
Anyone who remembers that Margaret Cho sitcom knows how difficult it can be when an immigrant family comes here and someone wants to buck tradition.
Yeah, they usually get their own sitcoms on ABC. Yeah.
Right.
Well,
Raj, where do your folks live? Did you say they were in India?
No, they live here, but they've spent like half their lives in India, like 30 years there, 30 years here.
Right.
And they've had really hard lives, actually, like really, really tough.
All right, well, do you know the girl that they've picked out for you?
No, they haven't picked one out, but, they're saying to me now, well, you're 27, you better get married soon. And then
And by the way,
Here's what I would do, by the way. I'd give them a stack of Playboys and say, okay, just circle the one.
Right, or go to Crazy Girls with your dad and go, pick one out.
Go ahead, Pops.
Well, my dad,
Here's a beer. I trust you.
$20 in a table dance, son. Go get one.
my dad actually...
That sounds like a fair compromise.
Come on, man.
You don't have to go back to the old country.
You got to pick from my pool.
But it's got to be at a place near the airport.
Right.
But by the way, we are not totally against arranged marriages. I mean, God knows there are advantages to that.
No,
Well, we have learned that people rely an awful lot on attraction. If you come from any kind of dysfunction, attraction tends to be an emotion that ill serves you in your choice of partners.
I'll give a clear example. If a woman was raised by an alcoholic dad,
Abusive alcoholic dad.
she'll choose an abusive alcoholic guy. And
Even
then
the guy's not drinking yet. She'll
and-
just see the potential there.
Right, Drew, be quiet for a second. Well, she'll crank out 3 kids, and we'll all be screwed, including her. Our point is if we could go out and find a guy and give it to her, she'd be better off in the long run. She may not be attracted to him, but he sure as hell wouldn't be an alcoholic, which is who she would be with if we left her on her own.
I don't get the feeling that Raj is the kind of guy we need to pick somebody for.
No.
So.
Well, see, the other thing is my dad has a heart condition, and I don't want him to, have a heart attack or something,
No, that's just a Sanford and Son thing. That's not... that doesn't really happen, does it, Drew?
It's the big one, Elizabeth.
We could.
Oh, please.
Oh, no, yes. I mean, listen, I can't tell you it can. It can.
Really?
Yeah,
but any more than jogging down the street or something for him?
Oh, yeah.
Why? Because it's prolonged stress?
It's tonic levels of elevated, catecholamines.
Oh, well, no
Tonic
duh.
and catecholamines.
I went hiking there once. Hey,
But Raj, but you need to find a way to assert, gradually, maybe in graded, measured doses, some independence here. Maybe not lay it all on him at once.
Maybe wait till you grow up a little bit,
He's 27.
That's my joke.
listen, I don't want to piss off any more cultures than I normally do, but, if this kind of stuff went on in Sweden, I think we'd be all right with it. Some of these cultures are a little rough, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're going back to these places. They're digging through some rice paddy and grabbing some chick who's got mud in her ears. You know what I'm saying? You with me, Drew?
I'm not quite. I'm not.
Raj is an American guy.
I'm just saying the kind of woman they might select wouldn't be a
Raj
Swedish
wants an
stewardess.
American woman, I think. That's what I'm saying. He wants himself a nice Anna Nicole Smith type. Ryan.
Yeah.
You're 14.
Oh, hi. I just had a question about steroids.
All right. Anabolic steroids, right?
Yeah.
All right.
If I were to use them for like a month, would the negative side effects kick in?
Well, at your age, they particularly could. And again, it depends what doses and whatnot you're using. Aside from the usual that they can cause inflammation of the liver, kidney disease, elevate your blood pressure, accelerate heart disease and strokes, which you're not likely to get in a month, in fact.
Ryan, you're 14. What, you got a big tetherball game coming up or something?
But they accelerate the closure of the bone plates. So whatever height you are now could be your final destination.
You might start trotting toward classes or something like that.
Do you understand me?
Yeah.
It could stunt your growth dramatically.
And does creatine work?
Ask McGrath.
Yeah, I mean, well, that was interesting dione.
That too.
Yeah, I mean, creatine for high performance athletes may squeeze out a little bit of more muscle performance. However, you're 14, and you're not in a category where that would be an important thing. It could only have deleterious effects at your age.
And let me ask you a question here, Drew, because you said squeeze out, and I just thought of one of my internal combustion analogies. No, I was thinking about. Let's say you're an automotive enthusiast or motorcycle enthusiast. You could put a pipe, an exhaust system, a few things on the thing to hop up the engine, right? But as I found out many years ago when I used to have a Ninja, you put the pipe on it, you get more horsepower, but it's only like 9,000 RPM. Under that, it actually hurts it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I don't know that there's an analogous situation in biological systems, but it is for high-end performance. It's like anaerobic performance and things. Yeah.
What's anaerobic?
Without oxygen.
Oh, really? When you hit that stage?
It's like after long periods of exertion.
It
might squeeze a little more.
So I was masturbating like 4 times in 15 minutes. Like the fourth one might be that.
When you're shooting dust?
You too?
Not me.
Believe me. Mulch in the dust.
I get the flag that comes out that says bang. At the end of it, like the gag gun.
That's the best thing I've ever heard.
Madison. I mean, Madigan.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, you're 18. What's going on?
What's up, dude?
Just to say, Sugar Ray, you guys are very, very cool. I like your new stuff.
Hey, thanks, Madigan.
Which we're going to hear some of in a minute.
That's right.
I've got a question for y'all. I came home from a party the other night, very, very drunk. And, I had a bunch of friends over at my house and all that. We were just kind of hanging out in the basement watching TV. And I went upstairs to talk to my parents. And my mom just, they'd kind of been hinting at it all night. But then my mom just asked me flat out, "Are you gay?" And it just, really, disturbed me.
Who'd been hinting at it all night? Your parents?
Yeah.
What? And you were wasted at the time you were talking to them?
Uh-huh.
Are you?
Right now?
No. Are you?
Or then. 2 days ago, were you?
Are you gay?
No, I'm not.
And what is it that led them to worry about that?
The pink parachute pants?
I don't understand, though. Like, if I was just kind of acting weird one night, that's not just something you assume in one night's period,
What were you doing the night that they... What was the acting weird that you thought they might have...
Did you have Bronski beat on?
No, I didn't.
Forgot about
That's what I do when I'm drunk.
I was just very drunk.
I got gay when I'm drunk, totally.
Well, what led them to believe that you're gay?
See, I don't know. That's the thing. That's what bothers me, because I'm not gay, and I, don't try to present the aura of a gay person. Not that that's bad, but
Well, do you think it could be? I knew parents who would just every 20 minutes would go by their son or daughter's door and go, "I smell pot."
Right.
You smoking pot in there? And the kid was either studying or sleeping, or have to wake up and tell them they weren't smoking pot. Now, the parents never smelt pot. They just said it. You know what I mean?
Was that Ummy's parents?
No, it was Robbie's, actually. He's Jewish.
That name's been ringing in my head all weekend.
Robbie, I smell, it's the catalytic converter. I just pulled the car in the garage.
But, Madigan, how did you react that night?
I kind of flipped out, and I was just like, well, no, Mom, I was not. And it's kind of funny because, in my mindset, I could only answer in, a little kid voice. I was just like, no, Mom, I'm not gay. I just, ran downstairs and, talked with my friends. I was just like, oh, my God. They asked me if I was gay, what they do that for. This is, really weirded me out.
Did you ask what the reason was?
My parents?
Yeah.
No, I haven't.
All right. So you're not gay, and I'll tell you what to do just for fun. Tomorrow, tell them you're not going to school. You're going to take a me day.
Big swim in Lake Me.
All right, so...
As long as you know you're not gay, it's not a problem.
Yeah.
My God. I mean, have they seen you around girls yet? Have you ever had a girlfriend?
I don't have a girlfriend right now, but, I've had some pretty serious relationships in the past.
Well, it sounds like some parental paranoia, bro. I wouldn't worry about it.
Parents were
that. Well, they could
parents were
have
drunk when they asked that.
But they could have seen some special on 2020 or something. You know what I mean? I mean, you look at it this way, and I hadn't really thought about this, but when we were growing up, there weren't gay characters on TV, really.
Well,
and people weren't.
Monroe.
Charles, yeah.
Monroe. Monroe?
Yeah, Monroe.
Comer Pyle.
From the Ted Knight series, Too Close for Comfort.
Yeah. I mean, Monroe was beyond.
But the point is, it wasn't discussed.
It wasn't all over the place. Yeah. So now your folks and you're a parent, you're watching TV, you got a couple of teenagers, and there's a gay character here, and there's a gay story over there, and there's gay bashing over here, right. And then Sweating to the Oldies comes. Video trilogy is being sold now, and now all of a sudden this is implanted in your head, and you're thinking to yourself, hey, I think about 70% of young people are gay.
That and you hear about all the suicides in young gay males. You might worry about your son. Is he all right? Does he seem depressed? Is that what's bothering you? There's a whole lot of information that's missing here.
Right.
So only the parents know what's up, and he's got to discuss that with them.
Okay, we're going to take a break. I came up with a sitcom title, I think the only one that has not been used yet, Cramped Quarters. And I'm going to go down to the DGA or something, and I'm going to trademark this thing. And one day, WB is going to have to spend $75K just to get that release, because Too Close for Comfort and just the eight of us, just the whatever of us and everything, it's all been done.
It's all around there.
Cramped Quarters is the only one that's not. I picture it. It's like a sitcom on a sub. They never know if it's day outside. That's all right. We're going to take a little break. Mark from Sugar Ray is here. We'll be back. We'll play some Sugar Ray, and it'll all be after this.
Loveline. Be right back in a minute. Loveline.
Hello, this is Vince DiFiore from the band Cake.
Hi, my name is John McRae from the band Cake, and you're listening to Loveline with Adam Carolla and Dr. Drew.
Danger and caution go hand in hand.
Yeah, it's true.
Yes, I was looking for those guys. Cake played Saturday night, I believe, at the Acoustic Christmas.
We introduced them.
Yeah, well, true. Come on, I'm keeping it casual for the people who weren't there. You know?
They're great, man. They sound really good live. We did a few festivals with them last week.
Oh, you did?
Down the, and they're amazing. Really amazing.
And really nice guys, too.
Really cool. John's a great guy. Really nice guy.
Just like Sugar Ray. And, people...
Some guys in the band.
I'll tell you, word spreads pretty quickly in this industry, and you kind of figure out who the a-holes are, who the people you shouldn't talk to are, and who the people you don't want to deal with again are, and you can tell there's a few groups, like the Cardigans. Oh, man.
Did you see that pit for the Cardigans?
No.
That's the good as a joke gets.
We were actually driving in while the Cardigans were playing, but they are the world's meanest group. They really are. Them and, surprisingly enough, the other group that was really mean in here, remember the Cowboy Junkies?
Oh, yeah.
And I like them, too, but they were mean as hell.
I can see they could be mean, yeah.
A lot of anger behind that,
yeah.
That angst.
Well, the point is...
they were nice to you because you kept...
telling you like them.
Yeah, pumping them up with the music.
No, they weren't nice to me, though. They were mean.
Only so many hits you can take.
The point is whenever Sugar Ray comes up, especially Mark from Sugar Ray, people just, he's so nice, and they expect you to be an a-hole. And the reason they expect you to be a-holes because you got a lot. The more you have going for yourself, the bigger a-hole people expect you to be. It's sort of the male equivalent to the female. The better looking you are, the smarter people say you are if you're not that smart. And here's what I'm saying.
Cindy Crawford.
Cindy Crawford, genius. She's a genius. Genius, this woman. She should be inventing, not modeling. We need her like NASA. Right. And I go, listen, I've talked to Cindy Crawford. She's nice. She's fine. She's not a genius. You say she's a genius because she's really good looking and... she's semi-intelligent.
Right.
But that gets bumped up to genius.
Genius.
You don't hear people talking about Janet Reno as a genius.
Basically, he's dissing you, Mark. He's saying that you really aren't that nice, but because they expect you to be an a-hole for your position,
no,
you're all right.
I'm saying the male...
Some people slip through the cracks.
The male
and some people sniff the cracks.
The male
I do the latter.
Equivalent to this is Mark. He's young, he's good-looking, he's in a real successful band, and he should be an a-hole, but he's so nice.
Right.
It's my upbringing. It's my Irish Catholic upbringing.
Speaking of
God bless
that
you.
element, did you see Billy Idol on
No, I didn't. I didn't see him.
Do tell.
Billy Idol, like an old man playing Billy Idol, like bifocals on.
Because he looked great in The Wedding Singer.
He looked great, but
you didn't see my eyebrows go big.
20 years.
Wow. So, Drew, you got to... who else did you see that I didn't see? Any
How about Vanilla Ice, man? That guy rules. That guy...
Show here.
I love him. Anybody who can be self-effacing and enjoy themselves. And I got to say this. Anybody who just comes back and does something, I always have appreciation for. You know that S.H. Storm, that guy was going to get by releasing his new. I mean, I just have nothing but respect for him in retrospect. We're going to see him tomorrow in Vegas, and
tomorrow in Vegas. I never seen him tomorrow.
We're going to see him tomorrow morning on our show.
Yeah, he's doing this. They're doing a show in Vegas with him tomorrow night. It's going to be cool. But I just thought it was cool for him to go out there. I mean, the Offspring song obviously disses him and his whole being. He went out there and just just face the music, and it makes something like that. It's like the Hugh Grant syndrome, Just get out there and take the hits, because people get bored after a while and go, that guy's not so bad after all.
He is not. I mean, we spent an evening with him, and we were in New York, and he came out for 2 hours. He's a good guy.
I've never met him. He just seems cool.
He is.
He was on, it was about 3 weeks ago, and he's a real nice guy. I don't know. We're going to see him tomorrow anyway.
I'm all about Vanilla Ice.
I'm all about Vanilla Ice, too. Word up to your mother, Drew.
One call and then the song, huh?
All right. Michael, you're 30.
Hey.
What's going on?
Long-time fan. Listen, I'm struggling with a new addiction to marijuana, and I'm coming to realize that I'm not addicted to one substance. I'm an addict, and I keep looking for more substances to get addicted to.
Well, that's the way addiction works. It's a region of the brain that you are genetically predisposed to. It's being conditioned by substances, and marijuana is one of the substances that can do that in some people.
It's really bad news as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, I know. Marijuana addicts typically try to switch to speed or alcohol to try to feel better, because that's what the marijuana has been doing for so long.
I started with speed, then I smoked cigarettes and I beat that, and then most recently I just sort of very occasionally smoked pot, and then all of a sudden I was doing it every day, and it was destroying everything. So my schoolwork was going downhill, and my work at my job was
What's the question, Michael?
What schoolwork you're doing at 30, by the way?
I'm trying to get my bachelor's degree in anthropology. I wasn't born with a lot of money, and I've been fighting my way to it, Adam.
Never too late. Never too late, mate. More power to you.
How were you born? How were you born with a lot of money?
No, without a lot of money.
Oh, he wasn't
didn't
born.
have an opportunity to go to school.
Yeah, most people don't say that.
I know you kind of like to put down the community colleges, but I really think that
I just don't think it's fair to have college right in the title. It's sort of misleading.
Maybe a continuation.
I got a great education from a community college, and
especially on the East Coast.
I feel really great about it.
Are you on the East Coast?
No, I'm right here in California.
Hey, Orange Coast is a good community college. I'll go on record.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you said East Coast.
I did.
No, he did say East Coast.
But the point is that it's interesting. There's the Carolla type at community college, and there are people at community college who are very serious.
Only the Asians.
But they whatever.
That's not,
they get all the good classes.
I know.
They use it as a conduit into the four-year university.
All right, but wait a minute. The guy's strung out. He's not making any money. How good did the college serve him?
Got a good job, and
Michael.
I'm saving it,
and
I'm not letting the addiction destroy my life.
Hey, Michael, the weed's not going to fly you through college either. I'll tell you that.
That's for sure.
Instead of my growth, I was watching old Rush videos and eating Cheetos all day.
What is the question?
My question is, I can't do the AA thing. First of all, I'm an atheist. Second of all, I hate the meetings. And it's all the same at NA, and I'm wondering if there's some other kind of recovery that I could be looking at.
All right. Ultimately, in terms of you actually getting better, you're going to need some sort of 12-step process, and somebody's going to have to help you get to the point that you're able to manage that. MA, Marijuana Anonymous, is what you need. I would suggest you at least make contact with them so you can at least have some support and understand you're not alone in this struggle, and not necessarily go to meetings, but just make contact with some people who have been through this. You can certainly get individual psychotherapy, just plain old psychotherapy, managed by a professional, and have them help you manage this. Ultimately, you go to 12 steps. Or there are behavioral approaches, a matrix program, that sort of thing. They use primarily behavioral.
There's a lot of people in the 12-step program who are not...
Or atheists, oh yeah.
Yeah, who are, I was going to say... Yeah, who are from sort of a secular thought.
They're just, you just have to believe in some force other than your own brain, because that part of your brain that is now out of touch and out of control, and you are not in contact with your conscious brain, you're not wired that way. You got to accept powerlessness over that. And for people that have issues about powerlessness, you have to have faith that things are going to be okay. And a higher power is a reasonable concept to step into as a way of managing the anxiety about giving up control.
Now, what was it in Michael's voice, by the way? How come some drug addicts have that voice like when they interview people who are running drugs on the news? And they scramble it a little bit. You know what I'm talking about?
If we were looking at him, expect to see little cubes all over his face.
Yeah, exactly. And then the funniest thing about that whole thing is they'd have his name, but it wouldn't be his real name underneath him. It would say Jack, but it'd be in quotations. And you think to yourself, hey, do you need that? You know what I mean? Am I going to see the guy in the street with the scrambled face and the lower voice and go, hey, you're the guy they called Jack. I know that's not your real name. Don't listen. If you're not going to use the guy's name, don't put anything there. That's fine. Yes. Or say we're not going to mention his name, but don't make one up. I don't need to identify every head that's scrambled. Am I right, Drew?
Adam, you're always right.
All right.
I think you're right. Are you right about what's coming next?
We're going to play a Sugar Ray song.
Yes.
Yes, off the new CD, which has not been released yet. It will be out January 12th, and this one is called Every Morning. Every Morning. Oh. That is from Sugar Ray. The CD, which is entitled 1459, a little play on the 15 Minutes of Fame, will be out January 12th. Mark from Sugar Ray is here. We're going to take a little break. And when we come back, we're going to speak to Stacy. She's 18. Boyfriend's been hitting on her.
Oh, hitting her.
Oh, hitting her. Is that different?
Thing I knew you were going to say that.
She has no family, doesn't know what to do. All right? This sounds like it's going to be a heartfelt one.
Loveline with Adam Carolla and Dr. Drew. The phone number's 1-800-LOVE-191.
We'll be right back.
Hi, this is Charlene Steve from Garbage, and you're listening to Loveline with Adam Carolla
and Dr. Drew.
Oh, I just belched up more garlic. Sorry.
Oh, my God.
Give me some bread.
Sorry about that. Was that you? Or was that Engineer Mike who asked me? I belched in here earlier, and Mike knew it was me. Mark is here from Sugar Ray. Drew is here from Pasadena. That was good, Mike. 1459 is the name of the new CD, which will be out January 12th. And we will go back to the phone. Stacy, you're 18.
Yeah.
What's going on?
Recently I've been living with my boyfriend for about 6 months. And recently he's started, hitting me, and I don't know what to do.
Why were you living with him? I mean, so early.
Because, my parents died in a car accident when I was 15. I've lived in foster homes.
Oh, my God. Were you an only child?
Yeah.
They died in a car accident?
They both died in a car accident.
Oh, my God. How were they before they weren't around anymore?
They were really loving, you know.
That was smooth, Drew.
Huh?
Well, I was just thinking of good words to the...
Okay. All right. They were good people.
Yeah, they were good.
See, here's what I know where Drew's going with this, which is... Why you move in with an abusive guy when I know your folks died, but you were 15 and the sort of cement had dried by then in terms of your psyche. Why would you hang out with this guy?
I don't know. I started going out with him when I was 16, and I think he was just kind of there for me to fall on.
It's just any port in the storm, right?
Yeah.
You just needed a life preserver. Yeah. Well, you needed a life preserver, and this was it, and he turned out to be the wrong guy, right?
Yeah, and
You've got to get out. He's not going to change.
But he's threatened me before, and that's what I'm scared of.
Threatened you with what?
If I leave him, that he would, come, stalk me, and, he was just saying that he doesn't want to lose me, and he's not going to, let me go.
How old is he?
He's 19.
Oh, boy.
Well, if he hits you, doll, he doesn't care for you. That's all I've got to say. You know, it's a little cut.
I would start calling the police every time he does anything to you.
Me too. It's cut and dry like that. And I know you probably feel pretty deep into it because, you live together and you feel like it's going to be hard to get out, and that may be true. But you got to take that first step forward. And you don't deserve to be hit in any situation, and he certainly doesn't love you if he does that.
Well, Stacey, do you have a place to go?
No, I don't.
You don't have any friends or anything?
Well, I guess I could, be with my friends, but I've kind of been isolated from them ever since I've been with my boyfriend.
Do your friends know?
No.
Well, maybe you should open up to one of them.
Start talking
But
about.
I don't feel close enough to them anymore.
Well, you'd be surprised how close they would come to you and embrace you in a situation like this. Especially if they're good friends. And you got to get out of this situation. It's terrible for you.
It's only going to get worse. It really is, Stacey. And really, every time he does something, start calling the police, because you're going to have to build a case if he really comes after you.
Yeah.
And you need some protection if he really indeed is that nuts that he becomes a stalker.
And here's the deal, all you young gals listening to the show. There are really two types of guys. There are the type of guys who hit women and the kind of guys who don't. And the kind of guys who don't would not hit a woman under any circumstance, no matter how drunk. And I know you like to say, oh, the Raiders lost, and he had a six-pack in him, and his dog just wiped its ass on the carpet, and blah, 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 so he had every reason in the world. I've never hit a woman, and I'm as big a a-hole as the next guy.
Right.
And it just couldn't.
It's not in your chemical makeup to ever hit a woman. I've been hit by a woman. It didn't even occur to me to hit a woman. It didn't even occur to me. It's untouchable. And there are guys out there that will take care of you and just treat you the right way. I mean, you don't deserve that. You're really young. You get, you see to take a step forward.
That's not Mark, by the way. He just won't hit you. That's his brand of nurturing. Hey, come on, baby. I'm not hitting you. Could be worse. So I'm banging your friend. I am not hitting you. The point is if you do, conversely, if you do hit, you will hit, and that is something you do.
Once you violate that boundary, on it goes.
Yeah, it's sort of like, there's certain dogs that bite, and those dogs bit the mailman, bit your mother-in-law, bit your best friend, bit everybody, and then there are other dogs that never bit anyone and never will.
It's also kind of like any other fight. Once a punch is swung and thrown,
right,
that's not the end. It keeps going up and up and up until somebody gets hurt.
Dr. Especially when it's accepted.
Yeah.
Especially when it's just, okay, it's okay. Especially when the girl starts making alibis, and, it's like it's taken to the next level in an extreme case.
And even if you think you're not accepting it at the time, you may yell at him, you may threaten him, you may call the cops, you may do whatever. The fact is if you stay in the relationship, that is an endorsement.
I don't know any books right off the top of my head, but there's a lot of books out there right now about domestic violence and being caught in these violent relationships ever since Nicole Brown Simpson's demise.
Right.
A lot of stuff out there, so you might want to pick something up at a bookstore, too.
Noelle.
Oh, hi.
You're 20.
Oh, my gosh, I'm so nervous.
What's going on?
I've been listening to you and Drew for a long time, so I got to say, you guys rock.
They do rock. They're the best.
And your people who answer the phone are really nice.
Yeah.
I don't know who did it, but they're nice. Oh, and Mark, so that's who I'm here to talk to right now. I've been a fan of yours for a long time. I'm so nervous. I can't believe I'm talking with you right now.
Ah, so nice.
Sorry. Anyway, I have a couple questions for you.
Sure.
Try to shoot them out.
No problem.
Really the only mistake nervous callers make is mentioning they're nervous 3 or 4 times. Other than that, there's no real difference between the composed callers and the nervous ones.
We're nervous, too, so I'll leave
yeah.
Except you don't say it, right?
I got to poke Drew with a stick to wake him up for the next call. He's that nervous. He fell asleep.
Okay, my question then is, I want to know who directs your videos. MCG, who is that?
That's funny you mentioned that because he's here in the studio with me right now.
Oh, it's you, isn't it?
No, it's not me. It's a friend of mine named McG.
Really?
And we grew up together in Newport Beach, California. We're best friends. Went to prom together.
No, he's a break. We were just talking about him and his car.
We were talking about, he's this great guy. He's done a lot of videos for Smash Mouth and Korn. And it's some people ask if it's me, but it's not me. I just give him all the ideas.
Really?
Nah, he'll kill me. No, he's an incredible director. His name's McG, and he's just, that's an interesting question.
Yeah, because that's, I'm trying to get in that field, video making.
Well, he's your man. He's on top of that game.
Let me ask you something, Mark. Can you make, I guess you can now, but, can you make good money directing videos, or is it just a real good stepping stone to get into whatever?
Did you see what my man drove me here in today?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of, I think you can make some nice money. I think it's the kind of thing when you're starting out, you actually lose money. It's like, but once you get to the upper echelon of the field, you can start making money. But it's also sort of a springboard to start doing things like commercials and movies and things like that. A lot of people have gone that way, and I know his interests lie in that. in the future in sort of that field. So that's a great question, Will.
Well, it's like when you make a video, it's almost, for the director, it's almost as if you're making a 3-minute, 4-minute reel of your work.
Absolutely.
Also, they sort of are pioneers of all sorts of techniques that other areas of the media want to get their hands on.
Yeah, because they can be very experimental. When then you have, like, in a movie, there's big budgets, there's blah, 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 where these guys are getting the cutting edge of shots and the new technology and that sort of thing. You know, you see it in that Gap commercial, the swing thing, that new technique where they fly over, and then Matchbox 20 used the technique as well. I just burped, that's way backed up. But,
is that your burp?
That was my burp, man. I ate some tandoori chicken that's talking in both orifices.
Yeah, you know, someone figured out, yes, it started with that Gap commercial that you could stop a picture and then move around it from different angles, and now I'm seeing it in every third commercial. I'm seeing, like, mortuaries using that technology. Actually go
before
around
and after,
the casket. Right? Here's the urn. Here's the other side of the urn. But it's so funny when something comes out and something breaks and something looks cool. It seems to permeate.
You'll see for 2 years. Yep.
And then it's gone.
But that's what these guys are doing, because they do the 3-minute videos and they get to experiment a lot. So McG is the man. He's the video director extraordinaire.
Mark, you're 23. You're on with Mark from Sugar Ray.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
What's up, man?
Hey, I just want to congratulate you, Mark. I saw you on Rock and Roll Jeopardy.
Oh, man. I don't want to brag, but
you kicked some serious buttocks, I should say.
Well, I did kick some buttock, and you had Joe Walsh there swatting flies, and Graham Nash not knowing who the lead singer of Lord's New Church was. So I sort of had a leg up on these guys, but it was a lot of fun, you know. And I think my buzzer worked, and theirs didn't.
How much money did you end up with? That was one of the top 10, I would say, performances of all time.
Well, hey, man knows his Jeopardy history. I wasn't counting, but $28,942.
Wow.
But actually, I wish it all went, but it was actually, the prize was $5,000 going to your charity. So I wish it could have all gone, because it was a great charity. I played for Dream Street, and it was fun, man. It was a lot of fun to do. And my mom is the Jeopardy champion extraordinaire. She was actually on the original back in New York with the old host. And so
Linkletter?
Yeah,
no, Art.
Alan.
No, Art something.
Casey Stein? I don't remember his name. But and she was pregnant with me on that. So
wow.
I get all my Jeopardy skills from my mom.
Wow.
Yes.
That is bizarre.
But Mark, I'm glad you saw that.
Art Fleming.
Art Fleming.
Right.
Yes. God.
Came up with that.
Dr. Drew.
Hey, that's solid.
That's pretty good for me. And like when I was alive, between like 65 and 75, when I was awake, watching, involved with the culture, it stuck. It just from 75 to 95, I must have been under the ground.
Yeah.
Mark?
Yep.
Thank you for your call.
Hey, no problem. Hey, Adam?
Yeah.
One thing I just want to give a quick shout out. I've been listening forever and really enjoy you guys. I'm an aspiring comedian also, so you give great advice and also hilarious. And
thank you.
I'm always
Absolutely.
writing jokes. Can I give one on right here?
Yeah, go ahead.
What do you give interracial couple for Christmas? You want to find out?
Yeah, what?
Instead of his and hers, drinking fountains. See you later.
Great delivery, by the way.
Yeah.
Make sure you stumble over the punchline.
Work on the timing. That's exactly what I'd prefer to.
Joe Walsh is making fun of this guy.
Is that a Don Rickles roast joke from like 62? God.
That's funny watching all those old roasts and watching him make fun of Sammy Davis.
So he gets so picked on. The Dean Martin roast, they show on infomercials now.
Yeah, I see those. Yeah, there's two things that strike me on all those old roast things and all that Rat Pack stuff is a lot of boozing, a lot of cigarette smoking, and a lot of racial humor.
Unreal racial humor. Like, unreal.
Is that right?
Right. Back when it was good to be white.
Break.
What? We're going to a break? All right, we're going to do that. Mark from Sugar Ray is here. Drew from Pasadena is here. We're going to take a break. Drew's going to go pat himself on the ass for the art.
Look at him look at you like, what are you talking about?
What names you come up with? Art Fleming.
Art Fleming, yeah.
Who says you can't think of anything?
Cramped quarters.
We'll be back.
I feel so liquidy.
Really? Mark didn't know who Ace Rock Cola is. Man, I don't know where you've been, brother.
I've had my head at my rear for years.
No kidding.
So, Ken.
Okay, this is Loveline. Mark from Sugar Ray's here. Here's our biggest fears, Drew and myself. We do this show. We're worse than he was his first night. But the point is we see everybody.
Right.
And just like tonight, we hang out, we take a whiz together, we drink a beer together.
Right.
We have a good time.
Absolutely.
But then another guest comes in the next night, and we forget everyone's name. We know the dude. We maybe know what band he's from, but we cannot figure out his name. And that's the lead man. Forget about the roadie or the bass player or the manager or whoever else.
Let's be fair. I mean, there are a few people that are friends of the show, Mark amongst them.
Sure.
We know for sure.
There's Mark and there's Art from Everclear and there's Dickie from the Boss Tones and guys like that. And there's probably 25 of them.
Right.
But then there's another 225. And these are guys you should know. I mean, a lot of these guys sell a lot of records, sign a lot of autographs, and they're not used to not, especially when we, and some of these guys we've had on the radio
and the TV.
Tons of times, like for 3 or 4 records.
Yeah, so it's really embarrassing. So our biggest nightmare is going to one of these events, like the Acoustic Christmas over the weekend, where we know we're going to run into tons of people who we should know and who we don't know. Now, there's 2 things that happen.
Isn't that everybody's nightmare, though?
I guess it is.
I guess whatever level you're at, there's always, God, I wish I'd,
Yeah, but you're like a rock star. You're not supposed to know anything, you know? Unless they caught you in Jeopardy, in which case they'd be pissed. You should be buzzing in with their name any time now. But the deal is first off, a lot of people, when we walk by them, just go, hey, Adam, what's going on? Hey, Drew, what's happening? Now, they may not necessarily know us, but we don't know if we know them or not, so we just wave. But Ken, from who I originally called Vince, actually, because he looks more like Vince than a Ken. Crystal Method's been on this show 3 times, and we've hung out with them plenty. And Ken came up, and Drew and I were walking, and Ken ran into both of us, and he said, hey, Adam, hey, Drew, how you doing? And Drew put his hand out. Hello, very nice to meet you. He said, nice to meet you, which is the cardinal sin of this, Drew, because you have to pretend like you know everybody. What's happening, dude, or how's it going?
He's always the guy walking around with a porno person.
Right.
Porno girl.
Right. Holly Body was his porn girlfriend at the time who came in here and actually knocked Drew's glasses off with her breast. She was a little bit weird. But the point is you don't say nice to meet you.
Did I say that?
Yes.
I was sick. I was so out of it.
All right.
Well, you're guilty of your own being a gentleman.
Kind of BS it a little bit.
That's rough. That is rough. Though.
All right, but we'll always remember, let me check my name. Mark from Sugar Ray. That is if he keeps selling records, you know.
Yeah, you'll forget me when I'm on CMC International playing Romania. All right. Well, I know you guys. Hey, oh, by the way, Dr. Drew, when I see you, like, I always say hello, but sometimes I go, hey, Dr. Drew, and I get sick calling you Dr. Drew every time, but I know you've worked hard for your degree.
Call me Drew. It's
but, you know, I always call you Dr. Drew.
You don't have to do
if it's
that.
ever disturbing, I'm not trying to be like formal. I'm just because I'm respecting your degree and what you've worked for.
That's sort of the title. It's sort of me. So no problem. Thank you.
Okay, Dr. Drew.
Right. Like, I think even Weird Al's friends call him Weird.
Yeah, I know.
Weird Al.
His mom named him Weird Al.
Frank, you're 24.
Oh, man. I thought you'd never get to me.
Uh-oh.
Scarface.
Anyhow, I'd like to say hi to all of you there.
What's up, Frank?
Hey, Mark. How you doing?
Good, man. How you doing?
Good. Anyhow, I think Drew and Adam, they're the perfect match. You know, you guys really do appeal to my generation. It's just, you guys are totally funny.
What's going on?
I totally agree.
Thanks.
If I could just say, you know, Adam, you are so cocky, crude, and rude, but, you know, you tend to lose focus a lot, whereas Dr. Drew keeps it for you. You know, that's really
Adam does not. I'll give him a...
You never know Adam had a wooden leg.
I'll defend him on this one. He never loses focus.
Hold on. You know what I can't stand? People corner us and explain the show to us. Like they do us all the time. They go, I love you guys. I love you guys. And they look at me and they go, you know, here's what I love about you guys. You're like the comedian guy. You make fun of people. You make the fart jokes. You talk about masturbation. But then you... Drew, you're like Mr. Serious with the information. And I'm like, hold on, let me write that down. Let's see, Drew's with
that
the
incorrect?
information. It's like, thanks for the explanation.
Yeah, really.
It'd be like you stopping the Dallas Cowboys and going to Emmitt Smith. I love you guys because, like, you run with the ball, and Troy, you, like, throw it. That's
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. You're great at getting boards in that skyhook. Yeah, you're right. You're totally right.
That's what I dig about you.
Stating the obvious is always cool.
Frank?
Yeah, but see, you don't understand.
What?
I listen because of you. Adam, you are the man. I think most people that make that comment is because they listen to you. I mean, it's true. Without Drew, it'd be, you know.
All right, Frank?
Anyhow, yeah.
Stay with the question.
Go ahead.
There we go.
Okay. My question.
Compose yourself.
If, like, genital herpes, for instance, right?
For instance.
Like, a woman contracts it, and she has it, giving natural birth, how would that be affected?
I love the change in Frank's tone. They're real serious all of a sudden.
Yeah. He's like a newscaster who went from the doodah parade to like the downing of flight 800. You know. You know, all of a sudden he's not jovial anymore.
All right, Frank. The deal is certainly a child can get infected during delivery if a woman is having an active outbreak, though in recent years, I think most gynecologists, obstetricians are much less disturbed about this risk than we were in years past. And certainly to avoid that risk, some women will opt for a cesarean section. And if there's evidence of an active outbreak in and around the time of delivery, yes, there would be a cesarean section. But otherwise, I think they're tending to deliver women with genital herpes who are not showing signs of viral shedding. Okay?
Right. What about intron A? Like stuff like
interferon?
Yeah, interferons and stuff. I've just read, the knowledge is dangerous, but I've read that this is administered for diseases, stuff like viruses.
Yeah.
Now, would that affect the...
I don't know of any interferon therapies for herpes at this point.
All right, well, let me ask you, this is interesting because we've always talked about on the show and never really got a definitive answer. And we know if you got herpes, apparently, for the rest of your life. But I always felt sorry for those people who had to wear a condom with their wife for the rest of their lives. It seemed like sort of almost a death sentence. I know it's a little little bit of hyperbole there.
I assume people just sort of
got the herpes.
Yeah,
just get it.
Certainly after child rearing, go ahead and just deal
All right,
with
so
it.
I've said to Drew 100 times, if you don't have a breakout, if you don't have a lesion, can you still pass it along? And he says yes, but it's not quite as
not nearly as infectious,
right? But what this is saying is if you don't have an outbreak and you can give birth to somebody, I mean, a woman will never open that wide for me. I can guarantee you that, unless I'm looking for something.
She doesn't need to, fortunately.
Oh, absolutely not. As a matter of fact, it's like, hey, could you cinch it up a little?
Yeah.
Could you tug on your right earlobe a little so I can feel a little something here?
Get those Kegel exercises going.
Yeah.
It's not their fault, of course.
Here.
It's God's fault.
I'm going to take this walnut. I'm going to put it in your ass. And you see if you can crack it. Just see if you
I know that chick.
See if you can do it for about 10 minutes. All right. So, Drew, maybe if you have herpes but you do not have an outbreak and they can see no lesions on you, if they feel it's safe enough for you to give birth, I think it's safe enough to have sex.
How long has Frank been pregnant for?
Well, he didn't give us no details about why he has asked the question.
You don't want to talk
I'm
to him.
afraid to get into it, Frank.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll just move on there. Joni. Or Johnny. Or what is that, Joni?
Yep.
What's going on?
Happy days.
Didn't we have Chachi?
Yeah, everyone says that.
I know.
Yeah, we had Scott Baio on the TV.
He's right. I love Scott
last
Baio.
week.
Okay, guys, long-time listener, first-time caller. Just bought the book yesterday.
Oh, good.
Thank you,
Pretty good. Okay, my problem is I go to an all-girls college.
Yeah, I think it's kind of good.
Thank you.
I go to an all-girls college. I'm 18 years old. I'm a virgin.
All right.
Yeah, I'm trying to save it, but I masturbate at least every day. Sometimes 2 or 3 times, and I'm starting to get concerned that it's unhealthy.
Why would it be unhealthy?
I don't know.
I mean, it's how you manage your biology.
Is it affecting your schoolwork?
Well, no, I kind of avoid that anyway.
What state are you in?
What state?
Yeah.
California. It's right by UC Berkeley.
Mills?
In fact, we're cross-enrolled, yeah.
Mills? Yeah.
Wow. A lot of angry lesbians there, aren't there?
Got a number? Or?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mills is a good school.
More lesbians than heteros, but that's cool.
Really?
Everyone's got their own thing.
No problem with what you're doing. I think it's a natural way to manage your biology. I mean, if you don't want to have sex, you better keep your biology under control.
So
right?
It's totally
but wait a minute. What if this has become a substitute?
Or
you know what I'm saying?
Obsession. I mean, is it because you don't want to relate with people, or you're having consequences from it, or is it just your way of?
I've never really had a relationship of any kind with the opposite sex.
Is this a way of avoiding that?
I don't think so. Like, if I meet people, I hit on them. I go out with people. I mean,
Are you into women at all?
No.
Huh?
No. Like, I would never do anything with a woman alone. I would be willing to...
What, 2 or 3 women? Sure. I know that feeling.
No.
No, but that's why I started the band.
Yeah, really.
No, but with
like a guy there, maybe, yeah. I'd be willing to experiment.
Well, I'm willing to help. I get this thing I do. So,
So you're saying
in February.
You're saying maybe you're bi.
I'm sorry?
Maybe you're bisexual.
She's just very sexual.
All right,
she
but
doesn't know what
all right, but Drew, I know you're all for abstinence at any cost, but she's 18. She's never had any contact with a man, and she masturbates quite a bit. Don't you think there's something going on with her?
She needs a relationship.
By contact, what do you mean? I mean, I've done everything but sex.
Oh, you have?
Oh, well,
all right.
So
That's
I'm
fine.
not like a stranger, you know.
Okay.
You just need a
all right.
relationship.
Just need to find the right guy.
Who will become the wrong guy soon?
Right. Do they have men teaching at Mills?
Sure.
Yeah, but not much to look at. You could call them men.
Oh, don't be thinking about dating your professors. Come on.
Well, I'm just...
happen. But, like, I'll see people, the social place around here is called the Tea Shop, and I'll see someone that's really dashing or whatever, and I write down this long, trashy romance novel fantasy about them right on the spot, and it's...
That's what you do, Adam, when you see attractive women, isn't it?
Tea bags at the tea shop.
Yeah.
Yeah, at the
That's what I do. Actually, I have a lot of plans, but I masturbate and I'll go out the window. You know what I mean?
There's no more energy left.
Mills is a great school. Focus on your studies. Find a relationship. You're going to be fine.
Yeah.
She's going to listen to that, too.
Yeah, why bother having an all-girls school if you're going to have guys teaching and
of course you have guys
filling the young lesbians
Professor
with the male
Mark Hamill.
propaganda?
I went to my college was right near two all-girls school, all women's institutions, as you learn to call them when you live in the vicinity.
It's a lot less attractive, isn't it?
And then plenty. It's a co-ed faculty.
Yeah, but
it's
why?
about co-ed's peers. I mean, you don't relate with the faculty on a social level. You live with your peers, and the whole idea is to maintain the focus, keep the eye of the tiger.
Is it just all about sexuality? I mean, is it all about distraction? You know what I mean?
I haven't thought it out.
You know, it's funny. It's funny. It's like, okay, here's what we'll do. We'll have this segregated institute. We'll have all females, so they're not distracted. They're not boy crazy. They're not all sexed up, and they can really focus on their studies. Fast forward 30 years, and they're all lesbian. Right. Now they've all formed a big daisy chain in the quad, and they're not getting anything done. But you see what happens when you try to screw... You try to screw with nature?
Yes.
And by the way,
screws with you.
It's
right.
But this is the logic we love in Adam and I love in our culture is an all male institution that is segregation. We can't have that.
Right. We can have all black college. We can have an all female college. We can have all whatever college. But you could never have just an all guy school. Although they had the academies for a while.
Yeah. Citadel.
But you can't do that anymore.
Right. No, that's wrong. John.
Yep.
You're 18.
Yep.
What's going on?
Dr. Drew,
John.
you're like a genius, man. I look up to you.
Well, thank you.
I want to know, how long does semen survive outside the body?
Outside the body?
Yeah. All right, let me tell you what happened.
Yeah.
So, like about a week ago, I was going to go out with some girl, and I was going to bring her back to my house. So I decided to, like, empty the cannon once before I picked her up.
Right. It's more of a derringer. Cannon.
Pow.
And
it's the same as a derringer, except for you don't keep it in your sock.
All right, so you did your thing. What happened?
all right. So then, like,
Saturday Night Special.
time was of the essence, and I was kind of running late. So I just, like, zipped up and I took off.
Yeah.
And when we got back to my house, I went to the restroom to get ready. And there was, like, some of it was, like, dry.
Ready for what?
Huh?
Sex.
I see.
Some of the semen was dry on the foreskin.
Yeah.
And I, like, kind of, like, just took it off with my fingers.
Gross.
Yeah.
And then, you know, I put them in her. So with that...
You didn't wear a condom?
He's so romantic.
No, my fingers.
Oh, your fingers?
Yeah.
I don't worry about that. That's not a big deal. How many hours were you out?
About one.
I don't know. I don't think you have much to worry about.
John, you don't work around food, do you, brother? You want this guy making you like a breakfast burrito on the back there.
I washed my hands, right?
You Caesar salad, right?
Do you work around food, John?
No, I don't.
Good.
Sounds like Isai Morales and La Bamba, this guy.
By the way, our phone number tonight is 1-800-580-0866. 580-0866. Our phone lines are screwed up, so tonight only we're using an alternative phone number.
Drew, how long does sperm last outside the body?
Basically until it's dry.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What does that mean? I know.
I'm trying to think because I've never
back a couple weeks.
I've never really studied it.
It depends on the volume.
That long.
Anyway.
Yeah. Also, I've turned my hamper into sort of a humidor so that the sperm stays fresh for the maid.
You had water regularly and checked the thermometer, the moisture meter?
Well, I had it lined in cedar. Not only it works out with the moisture, but keeps the moths out of there.
You have to select special cedar for that, too.
Right.
Not just any cedar.
Yeah, it's like a Colombian naughty stuff. I went with a T&G. But you could go with a shiplap or budded or a dado or rabbit. Join on that. But I went, call me old-fashioned. Yeah, then I put a little aerator in the side of it so it could breathe.
Good.
And I keep it in my closet, which is sort of like a root cellar above ground, though. It's a moist. It's a damp, dry. It's a damp, dark area that I keep it in.
Sounds like what most of the guys keep it in.
That's right. Oh, we're gonna play another song.
Yeah.
You want to play it now?
Yeah.
Why? You want to make a phone call?
No, we're doing 3, and so we're
okay.
spreading them out for you.
Now this is a premiere song, right?
Falls Apart.
Yes, it is. This would be a premiere tune. Never heard anywhere but right here.
From Sugar Ray off the new CD.
Falls Apart.
That is Falls Apart off of 1459, the soon-to-be new one for Sugar Ray. I'm not going to call it the new one yet because it's not out yet. It'll be out January 12th. And it sounded real good. I was yelling over the entire song.
Yeah, I could tell you're into it.
No.
It's all about you.
It is. I know. It's so pathetic. Sometimes I realize I interview guests and I go, hey, what were you thinking about when you made the album? And they go, well, I go, let me tell you what I was thinking about today when I was watching TV.
So I tripped over a couch, right? I'm spilling beer. I'm like, yeah, well, I put a lot of work into that song. Thanks.
Yeah, I know. It's so
we're all in this together. We're all in this together.
All right, I'm going to relax. Drew?
Yeah.
Okay. See? Yeah. Drew wanted to leave 3 years ago, and just when I came on board.
Got too good.
Mark is here from Sugar Ray. We're going to take ourselves a little break, and we'll be back with more after this.
Oh, yeah. Everybody now. Loveline will be right back.
Hi, this is Jonathan.
And this is David from Corny. You're listening to Loveline with Adam Carolla and Dr. Drew.
Yes, you is. Phone number, 1-800-LOVE. Oh, wait a minute. It ain't the phone number.
No, it's tonight only. 1-800-580-F80.
One night only.
580-0866.
That's
1-800-580-0866.
And if you act now, we're going to throw in the second mop for free. Absolutely.
Just think.
And the Tybo tapes.
Well, I went to the bathroom.
Billy Blaze.
I was thinking about those urinal dividers at the shrine.
Yeah.
Oh, those
Mark,
are disturbing.
Did you take a whiz at the shrine?
I did a combo. I did a 1 and 2, and I'm in there like, the guy goes, "You going on next?" I'm like, "Yeah, man, get out of here, man." So they have some like kind of 1930s thing happening there. Clark Gable, like, put your thing down here type.
The more stalls. I mean, the urinals. See, my big beef is, anyone listening to the show knows this, they have done away with the division between the urinals.
What is that? That's some kind of cattle call for, like, John Holmes.
Save money.
And so what it is you're standing there taking a whiz and you're looking at the guy schwanz who's next to you, and then once in a while some guy farts on the wrong side, the wind kicks you up, and you feel a little secondhand spray. It's like being by the ocean or something.
It's a real bummer. It's not sanitary, and I got a problem with it.
But
it's only in California, by the way.
Have you been to Italy?
Well, I mean,
if you go to number 2, you got a miniature golf. You got to get a hole-in-one. You're sitting there, and there's no seat, man. You're sitting there like, oh, my God. You're like, I got to get a hole-in-one, and maybe eat something weird, maybe get more than one ball to play, right? And he goes, and I'm like, oh, God, nice guy's bum.
But, I guess it's I guess it's smart because they don't want a bunch of guys reading the sports section and camping out there.
Do you know what he's talking about?
Yeah, the hole.
No, the things in the Europe, you have to stand up.
Right, you mean to go to number 2?
It is unreal. I'm thinking my poor grandmother. She's got to, like, lay one down. Old people tend to.
Right.
And she's got to, like, get in some sort of Mike Piazza position to get clean on this thing. And I'm like, there's no bidet. I'm like, and I'm having problems with it. I'm a world-class athlete.
But, you know, the thing we liked about the shrine is the divisions between the toilets, or between the urinals, was as if they took all the other ones that have been missing around the United States and made them into one huge one. I mean, they were like a cathedral between you and the guy next to you.
It was like horses lining up at a gate.
Yeah, they extended out 4 feet. 4 feet. There were a solid marble.
I masturbated in there. I mean, I felt that comfortable.
Took 14,000 Jews died just putting the one up, between me and Drew. Oh, well, that was many years ago. But it was quite a feat. I appreciate that place just for that. I'm thinking about making the drive over there to take a piss tonight.
The great thing going to the bathroom with Adam is he has to appreciate what anybody else has done there. And some guy had thrown up. And
that's right.
Oh, my God. I was like, oh, hey, great. Look, somebody's out here.
Yeah.
Gather around.
Absolutely. The party's officially started. That's all.
Got to be barfing the urine mint.
Joe, you're 18.
Yep.
What's going on?
Not much.
Oh.
I got see, my problem is I have my girlfriend. I've been with her for 4 years, and I'm the only person she's ever had sex with. But
you think?
And she thinks she's bi-curious. Well, she's
how mysterious?
Huh?
How old is she?
That's weird.
She's 20.
It's a little old to be bi-curious.
No, you know what I think? I disagree with you. Because a lot of girls I know at 20 start getting curious about that thing.
Well,
am I wrong?
Well, no, I think that's more than bi-curious. I think that's like bi-serious.
Hey, good one, Drew.
Oh, Drew, always burn me.
I've been around you a long time now. Maybe I don't need you anymore.
Yeah.
No, I think
Yes,
that's my point.
I go take a piss, you'll be crying. Believe me.
At 17, to have wonder about one's sexuality, that's understandable. But at 20, then you're talking about somebody who has some confusion about their sexuality.
Yeah.
And then it makes me think that something happened to her.
I don't know.
Well,
actually, yeah.
All right, what happened?
Not really, but yeah.
Well, when she was, from the time that she was 9 till, I think she was like 12, her uncle, molested her.
Okay, Joe, that would be something.
Yeah, that would be something.
Okay, and that's what makes people have difficulty in intimate relationships, that what give people all kinds of confusion about their sexual identity. And it's someone who usually will bring a great deal of chaos into their relationships.
It's interesting, though, that she hasn't been with a guy before Joe.
Is that true?
Well,
that's what he said. Oh, okay. Now it works. It's so weird on this show. I'm put Joe on hold for just 1 second, but you start understanding patterns. And when you talk about a woman who was molested from 9 to 12, you say, okay, here's someone who's going to be acting out. And by the time she's 15, she should have been with 5 guys, right?
Yeah.
And those guys should have been 15 years older than she was when she was 15.
Right.
So I say, geez, it's curious that at 18 you meet this chick and she hasn't been with any other guys, yet she was the victim of molestation this way. It doesn't really gel. But if you met her when she was 14, then it does kind of work.
Yeah. I was doing something about acting out today, and I was thinking about my kids and how their play often is an expression of their emotional state.
Right.
Sometimes they get aggressive and stuff. And really, you turn the hormones on at 14, and really acting out is just a way of it's another kind of play that gets activated by the biology around puberty. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
Play therapy in kids is how they get their feelings out, and they get in touch with their feelings. They have them play with blocks and dolls and stuff, and they act out their feelings. Well, adolescents do the same thing, but now with a whole new biology operating,
right?
And the sexuality becomes the play.
Joe?
Yeah.
How old is she now?
She's 20.
Oh, she's 20, so she was 16 when you met her at 14?
Yeah.
And you guys started having sex soon after?
Yeah, about a month after. You see, we knew each other ahead of time, but we didn't actually get together till a year after I originally met her. We were friends.
It's bizarre that you guys have been together for 4 years, and she
younger
was 16 and 14, and she had all this go on in her past. So anyway, here's what it sounds like to me, Joe. I'm thinking. Here's what I think, and you guys tell me whether you agree. She has a lot of chaos in her past.
Yeah.
And she's going to act out at some point. And you guys met when you were kids, and now you're adults, and it's been 4 years, and it's through all those years that you're supposed to be experimenting and trying things out and doing stuff with different partners. And now she's starting to, that curiosity's coming up in her. But this may be a way of her saying she's done with the relationship.
Yeah, and I think there's probably been other stuff.
I think she has the upper hand on this one.
He doesn't.
And maybe there's not a history. She doesn't. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think you're enamored of the older broad, may I say, for lack of a better term. And,
sure.
But and you might want to research that a little more. Get down a little heart-to-heart thing. But I think maybe there's more things she isn't telling you that you need to know.
Joe, do you think that she's getting kind of tired of the relationship and looking to move on?
No, we're completely happy. We have a daughter. She's a year old.
Aww.
And see, the thing is, though, both of her sisters are also bisexual.
Yeah,
well, sure, they had Uncle Joe, hitting on them when they were 10.
God.
Right?
Yeah.
Life sucks.
Right. Yeah, listen, I mean, I've learned from this show, you can make somebody's sexuality, you can either just sort of let it blossom, or you can make it in the lab. And
right.
You let Uncle Joe get a hold of your 9-year-old, and that's going to bend something, that's going to twist something. And I'm sure Uncle Joe got hold of the whole family, and that's what's going on.
Or the parents, Uncle Joe came from the same family as dad or mom, and,
It is that predictable.
Yeah. Right,
oh, yes.
Okay. Joe, you got a 1-year-old, and unfortunately, it's not the time to experiment. You know what I mean?
Experimentation will destabilize this relationship.
Yeah.
Especially with this woman.
I bought a dog, and I don't think it's time to experiment.
I don't want to get into it, but yeah, I got a dog too, and then I went out on the road, and then I took the dog back. I was like, I'm not even responsible enough for a dog at this point.
Tell me you didn't take a dog back.
I took the dog back. You lost all respect for me?
We're breaking up.
All right, I want my ring back. Karina.
Right, try and get it out of this.
15. What's going on?
Okay. My friend, Dana, likes the guy I'm dating. And yesterday he wanted both of us to go and hang out and stuff. And I couldn't go, and I told her that if she was going to make a move on him, she might as well do it now. And just, get it out of her system. And she did. And today he asked me out, and she likes him still, and I think it's going to ruin our friendship, and I want to know what I should do.
How bold and mature of her to offer up her boyfriend.
Yeah, it might ruin your relationship. I wouldn't know why, but...
Well,
Karina's got that little girl voice.
Yeah, but she is a little girl. She's 15. It's possible. Yeah, it's possible.
Karina?
What?
So let me just get this straight. Your friend Dana, is she your best female friend?
Yeah.
Has the hots, or had the hots for your boyfriend.
Yeah.
But he then asked you out? How does...
Okay.
I didn't get the timing of the whole thing.
No, they were supposed to go somewhere together, and she couldn't make it, but Karina could, and the guy could. And apparently they hooked up, am I right?
Yeah.
And what did they do?
I don't know.
And then he called you today and wanted to go out with you.
The point is that she's...
Well, that's kind of gross. That ain't cool, don't you think?
They were thinking of it as an experiment.
Yeah, well, so does Einstein, I mean, come on.
There's a lot of experimenting that goes on in this show, but in lieu of the lab coat and the beaker,
yeah.
you got a members-only jacket in a 40-ouncer.
Sergio Valente.
Uh-oh.
I don't mean to make light of the situation, but that's just not really very healthy. But that's just sort of goes against relationship 101.
I'm wondering what's up with you, Karina, that you would offer your boyfriend up this way.
That's kind of cool,
well,
actually.
He wasn't my boyfriend then.
See, she just wanted to clarify who he was into.
Yeah.
See, she was saying, all right, you go for him, I'll go for him, whoever he likes.
Oh.
That's it,
Right.
And look, you're going to deal with these sorts of situations with your girlfriends a lot. And most women deal with this by having an unwritten code that they just don't date their friends' boyfriends ever.
Well, it's like when Luke Perry had to choose between Brenda or Kelly on 90210. And there was a lot of confusion and drama involved. And, you might set yourself up for one of those episodes.
We had somebody on from 90210 just last week on the show, and I was saying, the thing that's funny about TV is whatever car anyone drove the first episode, they have to continue driving it for the rest of the series.
So Steve drives the Vet forever?
And Luke drives the Porsche.
Right, the Steve McQueen Porsche.
And Luke, even though he left the show for 2 seasons, came back, and I turned it on the other night, and he's still driving the Porsche.
And he went to England, too. And that Porsche exists.
It's sort of like a hairstyle.
You can never, yes. Yeah. Jason Priestley came out of the womb with that cowlick, and he's been sporting it ever since. But it's funny. You can't screw his stuff. And in real life, you don't know a guy who's in his early 20s who drove the same car he drove when he was in high school or that he drove when he was 30.
Or 3 years ago.
Yeah, Luke Perry's a 47 now, and he's driving the same. He's driving the same car he did the first season. All right, we are going to take ourselves a little break. We're going to come back. We're going to talk to Mike, who's 24. He's what the hell?
Taoist.
Oh, what is that?
That's stuff that's out
the
there.
chemical company, Dow.
Yeah, that's it.
Works for Dow?
No, they see these techniques, sex techniques for the 4-hour orgasms and stuff. I forget the name
right.
of it.
Yeah, stuff Sting does.
Right. Mike?
Pilates and whatnot.
Mike?
Yes.
What's the name of this stuff again you were looking into?
No, I've gotten a few books, and I've been trying a few things out of Taoist sexology.
There's sort of a name for this, though, right?
A freak?
A freak?
Isn't there a name for this?
Like Taoism sexology? It's just a type of like meditation and stuff.
All right.
They have theories in there, like the deer exercise.
All right, we're going to hear about them.
Downward dog.
All right, hang on a second there, Mike. I think it's the one where they say that if you lose, that your sperm is sort of...
Your life force. And
your life force, and if that ends up on a gym shirt...
or a blue dress.
You're going to be teaching a gym class or something like that.
The very Tao itself is getting sucked into your hamper right now.
See laundry in your future, Adam.
All right. We're going to take a little break, and we'll learn all about this Taoist stuff when we come back.
Oh, yeah. Everybody now. Loveline will be right back.
All righty. It is Loveline. Mark McGrath is here from Sugar Ray. The new CD will be out on January 12th. So whatever it is you spend on Christmas, save an extra, I guess it's now like $16 now.
Yeah, a little rough these days.
Wow.
It's getting up there.
You want to know how pathetic I am. I went out. The only CDs I buy are old ones now because the new ones, I just figure the band's got to come on the show.
Right.
And I'll get a few of them for free. But I know there's certain bands that aren't coming on the show, such as Jane the Americans. And
what a great... You bought that?
I was looking for it.
I was going to say.
And
ask Richard for that one.
I was looking for Jane the Americans, and I was also looking for Burton Cummings and the Union Gap today. And you know,
singing "Oh Canada."
17-year-old kid behind the counter at the Music Plus, looking at me cross-eyed, having to go through it on the computer. Not there, and neither was the Jane the Americans. So I'm going to have to wait on that again. But like I said, the 12th will be when you can find Sugar Ray's new CD. Mike.
Yes.
You're 24. What's going on?
I just have a couple quick questions. I've been studying like Taoism sexology for like 6 years now, using the theories and the uses regularly.
It's Burton Cummings is Guess Who? Yeah,
of course.
Yeah. It's Gary Puckett in the Union Gap. That's right.
All right. So
I was going to say,
someone just wrote that on there.
What is the question about this?
Well, the question is, I've been talking to a few doctors about this thing they have. It's called ejaculation versus ejaculation.
It's where you push up on the area behind your testes and
between your prostate and your testes,
and you end up pushing the ejaculate up into your bladder.
Wear a glove, please.
Well, it works really well with like oral sex and to keep from making a mess generally. Because nothing really comes out.
Yeah, but listen, Mike, let me ask you a question.
It's a beautiful mess, Mike.
When you eat, do you sit at the table or do you stand over the sink? Do you know what I mean? I mean, okay, you go to the table, maybe you spill a few crumbs, maybe you got to bust a plate, but it's a hell of a lot more comfortable to sit down and eat than it is to stand over the disposal and eat. And that's why you do it.
I'm missing the comparison here.
It's just let it come out, baby. Let it feel that ride, man. That's what Jesus gave you.
Well, I mean, maybe you've never tried it, but
I have tried. It felt weird. Something came into my nose.
Well, I mean, I think it makes it last like 4 or 5 times longer, the actual ejaculation itself, because
it kind of, I don't know, it just kind of stops it and keeps it there. So
No.
It might stick in there, too. I've heard about that, haven't you, Dr. Drew?
Getting stuck?
Yeah, it sticks in there, and you got to massage the testes to make sure it all comes out. I have a friend who had to go to the hospital once because of that.
Yeah, you can cause all kinds of problems in the plumbing, believe me, and it can really hurt.
Hey, Jack Steffen, you got to get out there.
Any Jack Stefanovich, you mean?
Jack Steffen.
Well, every doctor I've asked about it just was like totally scared to even talk about it. We don't have any idea about that theory.
It's not a good. It's certainly not good for you. It probably isn't going to harm you, but it could.
Yeah, but
like stretch the tube.
Yeah. Right. You worry about the ability of all that plumbing to maintain itself.
Mm-hmm.
And listen, anytime something is meant to come out of the body and you stop it at the last second, it puts a little strain on the body, doesn't it?
It's like colonics to me, man. It's kind of a weird deal.
Yeah,
I mean, anything that isn't God-made, man.
My thing is when you're searching for changes in things that are already perfect, to make it more perfect.
We could do hammer your nuts on a chopping block.
Something else wrong. Consult other areas of your life.
Yeah, and let me tell you something. Religion is not meant so that you can blow a load into your own ass. You know what I mean? That's about spirituality. It's about life after death. It's about relationships. It's not about not ruining the comforter. I mean, this becomes your religion, and your whole religion is around jacking off.
Yeah.
Although I've loosely based my religion on that.
Me as well. That's enlightening to me, actually.
Time for another song.
Really?
It is.
All right, good. I got to take a whiz.
Me too. We do it together again?
Yes.
Excellent.
That's good. One day I'm going to write a book called Celebrity Schlong.
Yeah.
Celebrity.
It'll be a short chapter.
This one's called Someday. That is Someday from Sugar Ray. The new album is going to be out January 12th. Oh, and it sounds good. And I'm so glad because, as I've said on the show many times, there are a handful of bands that we consider friends of the show, and we always hope that they're successful because we want them back and we don't want them to fade away.
Well, I'm going to be a little reciprocal on this one because you guys have always been so great to this group and always so fun when we come here and talk to you and Adam. Thanks for having me again as usual, man.
God bless you, Mark.
Absolutely. Always have a good time.
All right. I think what we'll do is we'll take a quick break, and then we'll come back, and we'll just sort of wrap it up with Sugar Ray.
The phone number for Loveline is 1-800-LOVE-191. Loveline. I'll be right back.
More Loveline with singer, musician, American, Mark McGrath from Sugar Ray.
All right.
God bless him and God bless Sugar Ray. All right, the new album is called 1459. That will be out January 12th. Write that down on your calendar. That's it with the show. Mark, thanks a ton.
Thanks again for having me, and I want to say rest in peace. My good friend Lynn Stray of the band Snot, man. And we're going to miss you. Dr. Drew and Adam, thanks again for having me. It's been a lot of fun.
Our pleasure. Real fast 2 hours with Mark.
Oh, yeah.
Always fast.
Always a good time. All right, until next time, this is Adam Carolla for Dr. Drew saying mahalo.
This has been Loveline. The views expressed on Loveline are not necessarily those of the staff, the management, or the sponsors of this radio station. And are probably not the views of Westwood One Entertainment. Loveline is produced by Ann Wilkins Ingle. Now, please listen to this station longer.